All right, welcome back. So I'm going to continue my Mbsr training. I have a little bit extra time tonight. It's not as much of a busy night as it has been before. So let's look at where I left off. So we'll go to YouTube and look at the last video that I posted. All right, so it was part 36. So I've got all the readings and the videos. Well, most of the readings. Let me actually get the readings done because these are just the readings for the informal practice. So because of that, there's only 3 readings left. So I can pretty easily get all the readings done now, and then it should be pretty easy to get the videos done as well. So I can probably get all of those done today, and then possibly get through some of these supplemental materials. So let me start with that. We're just going to get all of the readings done that I haven't gotten done yet, and then you know what? I feel like honestly, no, I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to start with the exercises first. I'm going to start with the informal and formal exercises because those are the ones that if I get behind on those, it's going to be hard to make those up. I'm going to have to do an hour of yoga in a day if I get behind on that. So let's focus on that first. So we'll start with the informal exercise. So we're going to focus on an unwanted emotion or physical pain that may have come up during the day, and then write about that, or express gratitude if you really can't think of something. But I've that definitely probably won't be the case for me because I got a few. I've got bad cholesterol numbers and I'm dealing with class 2 obesity. So I definitely don't always feel my best. But today felt really good. Today I had a really good day. So let's see here. I mean, like I work full time, right? So I guess this is just self-explanatory work. Strongest emotion. Uh, well, I don't know. I don't want to. I want to keep work out of a public YouTube channel. That just is not a good idea to blur those two. So I'm gonna come up with something else. I mean, like I'm in pain. I'm like always in pain. My elbow is kind of busted right now. Yeah, I still have tennis elbow. Like I can still feel it. It's still kind of bad. So like, what's the strongest emotion? Oh, and I'm feeling. I feel some concern that it's so chronic and long lasting. How would you describe this physically? Tennis elbow. Although, and I would say it feels like if it's like a burning, and it's like sharp and intense, really really site specific, and then agitated by specific motions. So really, I would call it very specific. All right, and then where did you find? Oh, something. Oh, that's right, because this is the one where you. Oh, now I get it. Now I get it. So my other elbow is actually pretty good. So yeah, what you're supposed to do is it was outlined in the meditation. You're supposed to and then zoom out and zoom back in, do all that stuff. There was a half an hour meditation. So it's just a briefer exercise. What you do is you hone in on the painful thing, whether emotional or physical. Think about what it really was. I describe it physically. You really turn inward to it. But then what you do is you think about something that a part of you that isn't in pain, or a part of you that isn't in emotional distress, and you remember that. My other elbow is good, and then what do I notice now? That I noticed that my other elbow is good. That's a good question. A gratitude for my knees being better. They were worse than my elbows. Yeah. So I guess my left elbow was just the thing that got busted the most, and my knees healed up. My right knee healed up, so hopefully my left elbow should heal up pretty soon. I was doing Olympic style weightlifting, and I was not progressively overloading correctly. I was just going for big lifts, which was really stupid. Okay, so I misspelled tendonitis up here, so I'll fix that. There he goes. Okay, so now I got to get done yoga 2, which is a half an hour, so I should get this out of the way. So let's focus on that. And I'm picking yoga 2 because there's for the other 4 days you can choose any of the practices you've done so far. So I want to choose yoga because I want to establish more physical exercise in my life. Okay, so we got to go down to I think resources. Oh, not resources. No, practices. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to start with the yoga 2 because it's the tower pose. Maybe even a little bit of a tower that's kind of falling down a bit. So I'm going to do that on September 11th. The nice and tall tower poses, and then alternate between yoga 2 and yoga 1. They kind of affect different areas. Yoga 2 affects the arms a lot more. Yoga 2 is kind of like more of an ab exercise. I think yoga 1 is more of an ab exercise. I think yoga 2 is also like a bit more intense. So I feel like this is a lot more doable to alternate. All right. So and then it looks like there's alternative 10 mindful movements you could do instead. Yeah, that's part of this course. You could do that instead, but I'm just going to stick to the yoga. So I'm going to do yoga 2, but I need a quick break before I start. So let me get that. Here's the video. Okay, and then I'll take a quick break. I'll be right back, and then I'll knock this off, and then try to knock off the reading as well. All right, I'm back, so no more procrastinating. Let's get this done.
Hi, my name is Dr. Lynn Rossi, health psychologist for Healthy for Life. Welcome to the practice of yoga. While you may think yoga is just an exercise in strengthening and stretching the body, the essence of yoga is about calming the busy mind. For that to happen, I'll be reminding you to come back to your body and your breath throughout the practice, listening to the messages you receive from your body in order to find your version of each posture, finding your edge in each pose and knowing how long to hold it. Once you're in your version of the posture, inviting the breath to be deep and full in order to bring energy and vitality to the body. Being completely open to whatever you're experiencing in the moment, without judgment, without needing things to be any different than what they are. Jenny will be doing the chair modifications of each pose in case you need or want to do yoga from your chair. Finally, we always recommend that you check with your healthcare provider before starting a new practice of physical activity. So let's get started by lying flat on the floor in the corpse posture. Your arms are by your side with the palms facing up toward the ceiling. You can have your knees bent with your knees falling together, or you can have your legs straight and the feet falling apart from one another. Beginning to connect with your breath. Feeling the rising and falling of the belly, the expanding and deflating of the rib cage, the upper chest rising and falling. And taking some time to deepen the breath, allowing it to be full, the belly soft. Then stretching your arms up overhead and clasping your thumbs together or leaving them in a parallel position and reaching the toes and fingers in opposite directions. Getting a nice full body stretch. And continuing to breathe as you do so. And then releasing and bringing your arms back down to your sides. And pausing here for a moment. And noticing if the body maybe feels a little bit longer. And then rolling over onto your belly in preparation for the Sphinx posture. Your arms will be bent with your forearms flat on the ground. And they're parallel to each other like railroad tracks. Your elbows should be directly underneath your shoulders, spreading your fingers wide apart and looking straight ahead. Your sternum lifted as you move your shoulder blades down your back, feeling the arch in the spine. Watching the tendency to collapse your shoulders and continuing to work at moving your shoulder blades down your back. Inviting the breath to be deep. Relaxing the face. Relaxing the jaw. And from here, moving into a table position by placing your hands underneath your shoulders and coming up to a tabletop with your wrists right beneath your shoulders and your knees right below your hips. Your knees are about hip width apart. And from here, we're going to bring your right knee and your forehead together as best you can. And then straighten the right leg out behind you, pointing your toes and lifting it up as far as it'll go, looking up. Then bringing your knee and your forehead together as best you can. And then bringing your leg back up, looking up. And the last time, bringing your knee and forehead together, arching your back, and then straightening out. And this time leaving your leg here and pulsing it up 6 or 7 times. And then crossing your leg to the left side and placing your toes on the floor as you look over your left shoulder, creating a nice C curve in the spine, breathing. And then coming back to a neutral position, and we'll switch sides. This time, bringing your forehead, your left knee and your forehead together, and then straightening your left leg out in the back. Bringing your left knee to your forehead, and then straightening it out in the back. Lifting up, then bringing your left knee to your forehead, and then straightening the leg in the back, and pulsing it up toward the ceiling 6 or 7 times. Breathing, feeling the strength in the back that it takes to do this. And then moving your foot over to the right side now, toes on the floor, looking out over your right shoulder. Getting a nice curve in the spine, leaving your arms straight. And then coming back into a neutral position. And then we're going to come into a sitting position with the soles of the feet together into the bound angle posture, placing your hands behind your back on the floor for support, moving the heels and pelvis toward one another and pressing your hands into the floor to lift your chest. And gently rocking your knees from side to side, breathing and relaxing. Imagining the tension and tightness in your inner thighs, leaving on each out breath, allowing your muscles to slowly release. And from here we'll move into a stretch for the back of the legs. So you're going to start by straightening the right leg and leaving the sole of the left foot on the inside of the right thigh. And your right knee's pointed up toward the ceiling, sitting up nice and tall. And then just allowing the chest to fall out over the right leg. Resting your hands on your leg wherever you end up. And your right toes will be pointed up towards the ceiling. Connecting with the breath, and imagine the breath moving all the way down into the right leg and back again, breathing and relaxing, letting the face and jaw relax, taking your time. Nice, long, deep breaths in and out. Feeling the body begin to open and release. And then sitting back up again and placing the sole of the left foot on the floor, okay, on the inside of your right thigh, bringing your left fingertips underneath your right leg and twisting to the right. As you bring your right hand behind you and looking out behind you and breathing. Toes of your right foot are still flexed up toward the ceiling. Even though it's a little more difficult to breathe in this position, taking some nice long deep breaths in and out. And then releasing by coming back to center. And then we'll move to the other side. So straightening the left leg and bringing the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Sitting up nice and tall. Taking a deep breath in. And then letting the chest fall forward over the left leg. Keeping the toes of the left foot flexed and up toward the ceiling. Giving your body time to open up and release. Breathing all the way down into those muscles along the back of the left leg. Taking your time, letting the face and the jaw relax. Noticing if this side may be different than the other side. And just noticing the difference without judgment, but just with curiosity and interest. One more deep breath in and out, and then we'll sit back up and place the right foot on the floor. The right leg bent. Bring the fingertips of the right hand underneath your left leg, twisting to your left and looking out behind you over the left shoulder. If you want to get a deeper stretch, you can even kind of push that right elbow into the right leg. Twisting and breathing. Consciously taking some deep breaths in and out here. Your eyes can be open or closed. And then releasing the hands, coming back to center, and moving into a cross-legged position for the next set of stretches, focusing on the neck and shoulders. And when you're ready, letting your head fall forward and lowering your chin to your chest. Feeling the stretch along the back of the neck. Taking a deep breath in and out. And then rolling your right ear over your right shoulder. You can even reach your left fingers toward the floor to get a little deeper stretch. Taking a deep breath in and out. And then rolling the head back through center and bring the left ear over the left shoulder, reaching the right fingertips towards the floor, and inviting the breath to be deep, to encourage the release of the muscles along the right side of the neck. Relaxing the face, and then rolling your head back down again, and then lifting it straight up, and letting your head fall straight back, getting a nice stretch in the throat and the chest. And then bringing your head back to center. And now clasping your hands in front of you, and then reversing the clasp and pushing the palms of your hands out as far as you can go. Taking a deep breath into the space between the shoulder blades, feeling the stretch, and then lifting the arms up overhead and pressing one palm and then the other up towards the ceiling. Feeling the stretch along the arms and armpits, breathing in and out. And then unclasping your hands and bringing your arms down and behind you, and clasping your hands behind your back, squeezing your shoulder blades together, opening up the chest, and feeling the stretch along the front of the body. Continuing to squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then lifting the hands up as far as they will go. They might just go a little bit further up. And feeling the blood and oxygen moving to the shoulder blades, a part of the body that gets sore and accumulates a lot of tension. And then unclasping your hands and coming back to center, just resting your hands on your knees, and we'll move into some side stretches. Placing the left hand on the floor beside you and reaching your right arm up toward the ceiling, taking a deep breath in and then reaching out over to the left. Getting a nice stretch along the right side of the body. Breathing, opening up the chest. Relaxing your face. Noticing if your attention goes someplace else once we've moved into a posture. And just bringing yourself back to the breath and the body. Then coming back up again and lowering the right arm to your side and closing your eyes if you feel comfortable. Noticing the sensations in the body. Noticing the difference between the right side and the left side. And then opening your eyes once more, and this time lifting your left arm up, breathing in as you reach your fingertips toward the ceiling. And on the out breath, leaning over to the right, reaching, breathing, feeling the stretch on the left side now, relaxing the face and jaw, letting the breath be deep and full. And when you're ready, coming back up again and pausing here for a moment and again feeling the effects of the stretch. And now we're going to move into a downward facing dog position. So you're going to start by coming to your hands and knees. And this time in the table position, instead of having your wrists right beneath your shoulders, move your hands forward just slightly. Your fingers should be spread wide apart. tucking your toes under and lifting your bottom up towards the ceiling as you bring your heels down toward the floor. Your feet should be about, a foot apart, and you can work one heel and then the other down to the floor to get a nice stretch along the back of your legs, which we've already warmed up just a little. Breathing, pushing out through the palms of your hands. The downward facing dog posture is an all-purpose posture that helps strengthen the body and stretch it. And then when you're ready, we're going to begin to walk our hands and our feet toward one another until you come into a forward hanging bend position. Your knees will be soft, your head will be relaxed and facing down. You can be holding on to your legs if you need to, but just letting the body hang forward, letting all the blood rush down into the head. Taking some deep breaths here, and then slowly we're going to begin to bring our body into a standing position. Taking your time, letting your head still be falling down toward the floor, stacking the vertebrae one at a time, leaving your chin on your chest, letting it come up the last after you've come to a standing position. And then standing here for a moment in the mountain posture, looking at your feet so that you can position them about hip width apart. Your knees are going to be soft, your legs are engaged. Taking a deep breath in and letting your tailbone be slightly tucked, lifting your sternum up toward the ceiling, bringing your shoulders up to your ears, and then letting your shoulders just relax. Standing here in this mountain posture with your feet rooted into the floor and your head lifted up toward the ceiling. And then as you breathe in, lifting your arms up over your head. And as you breathe out, bringing your arms down and in front of you as you bend your knees into the chair. Arms parallel to the floor, knees bent, breathing. Then lowering the arms, straightening the legs as you breathe in, and lift your arms up overhead. As you breathe out, coming into the chair. Breathing. Breathing in as you lift up, and breathing out as you come back into the chair and holding the chair for just a few breaths. Trying to be as relaxed as you can, relaxing back into that easy chair, relaxing the face, relaxing your mind that might be resisting holding the posture, maybe even smiling, noticing the strength that it takes to hold the chair position. If you've gone too far, you can come up a little. And if you need to come up before I say to, feel free to do that. Feeling the fatigue in the legs, the strength that it takes to hold your arms up. Relaxing as best you can, and then when you're ready, straightening the legs and lowering the hands to the sides, and pausing here for a moment, feeling the effects of having done the chair. Your heart rate may be increased. There might be more warmth in the body. And now we're going to move into the half moon posture. Okay, once again, breathing in as you lift your arms up overhead into the temple position by clasping your hands together, then straightening the thumbs and first fingers, or you can just leave your arms parallel. Reaching your fingertips toward the ceiling as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, moving the left hip to the left as you reach over to the right and get a nice stretch along the left side of the body. You don't have to go very far to get a nice stretch. If you've gone too far, you might notice it's a little difficult to breathe, or you might quit breathing. So come back up a little bit. Then coming back to center and moving to the opposite side. Right hip to the right, arms to the left, stretching out. Feeling the stretch along the right side of the body, breathing in and out. Relaxing the face and jaw. And then coming back up again. Breathing in as you lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling and breathing out as you bring your arms down to your sides, taking your time. Feeling the arms moving through space, the heaviness of the arms, the tingling in the arms, getting in touch with all of the sensations as you bring them slowly down to your sides, and then feeling the effects of the release and the posture on the body. And now we'll be moving into a series of standing postures. We'll start by bringing the feet about 3 or 4 feet apart. You're going to turn the right foot out at a 90-degree angle and the left foot in about 45 degrees. You're going to bend the right knee over the right ankle so that the shin is perpendicular to the floor, bringing your arms so that they're parallel to the floor. You can look back at your back arm to make sure they're parallel. And then keep your gaze on the middle finger of your right hand. Once you're here, breathing nice and deep, making sure you're not leaning to the right, out over that right leg, but bringing your torso up so that it's perpendicular to the floor. Pressing the tailbone down toward the floor, relaxing the face and the jaw. Dwelling in the warrior 2 position. And now we'll move into the reversed warrior, and you'll simply shift the palm of your right hand so that it's facing up toward the ceiling. And then windmilling your arms so that the left arm comes down, the left hand comes down to the left leg, and the right arm and hand are extended up toward the ceiling. Looking out over the palm of the right hand, if that's comfortable for you, making sure your left knee is still bent. Taking a few breaths here. And then we'll move into the next position. So come back to warrior 2 briefly. And then bring your right forearm down to your right leg and bring your left arm up so that it's up next to your ear and your fingertips are pointing out to the right. You want to create a nice stretch from your left heel through your left fingertips, lengthening the entire left side of your body, trying to create as much length along the torso as possible, even on the right side, so you don't want to collapse into the torso. And breathing here in the side angle posture. To move out of the stretch, you're going to bring your left arm back so it's parallel to the floor and reach the fingertips to the left to pull you out of the posture, straightening the right leg and coming back into the mountain posture one more time just to feel the effects of doing those postures on the body. And now moving to the other side, bringing your feet 3 or 4 feet apart, turning the left foot out at a 90-degree angle and the right foot at 45. Bending the left knee over the left ankle. Bring your arms up parallel to the floor. And turning your head to the left and keeping your gaze on the middle finger of the left hand. Once you're here, inviting the breath to be deep and again checking to see that your torso is perpendicular to the floor. Pressing the tailbone down to the floor and relaxing as best you can in this strengthening posture, relaxing the face and the jaw. And then we'll move into the reverse warrior, shifting the palm of the left hand so it's facing up toward the ceiling. And then windmilling the arms, right hand down to the right leg, left hand up toward the ceiling, looking out over the left hand now. And breathing, relaxing the face and jaw. And then we'll move into the side angle on this side by bringing the left forearm down to the left leg. Right arm stretches out overhead, reaching those fingertips out, creating that nice stretch along the entire right side of the body from your right heel to your fingertips. Stretching and breathing, being fully present for the side angle posture. And again, to move out of the stretch, you'll bring your right arm back parallel. Bring your fingers out to the right to pull you out of the posture, and then coming back into the mountain pose one more time. And you can close your eyes and let all of your attention come inside to the sensations of the body. Letting the body relax from having done that series of strengthening postures. Now we're going to move into a posture called the tree. The tree is a balancing posture. Now the trick to doing balancing postures is to find one spot of attention on the floor in front of you or on the wall. And this gives you concentration by looking at one spot. We'll start by moving your weight over to your left foot, and then bringing the heel of your right foot to your ankle. You can leave your toes on the floor, and bringing the palms of your hands together in front of your chest in prayer position. If you think you might want to go to the next version of the tree, you can try bringing your sole to the calf of the left leg. Okay, here we go. Bringing your hands into prayer position. And you can also bring it up to the inside of your left thigh. Taking your time to find your version of the posture today. Wherever you can manage to put the foot is fine. You don't want to put your foot over your knee because of risk of injury. You want to be able to balance and breathe in whatever version you choose. Keeping your gaze on one spot of attention. And when you're ready and balanced, you can stretch your arms up overhead into a V position or into temple if you'd like. Remembering to breathe, stretching up while at the same time feeling rooted and grounded like a tree. And when you're ready, bringing your hands back down to your chest, pausing here for a moment, and then lowering your right foot, lowering the arms, and standing still for a moment. Feeling the energy that's created by doing a balancing posture like the tree. Noticing the heart rate, the breath. And then we'll switch sides by moving the weight over to your right foot and bringing your left foot either to your ankle, to the calf, or to the inside of your thigh. Taking your time to find your position. Bringing your hands into a prayer position in front of your chest, looking at one spot of attention in front of you or on the floor. And when you feel balanced, you can bring your arms up overhead into a V or into temple. Standing and imagining yourself as your favorite tree. Rooted, grounded into the floor. Breathing. Relaxing as best you can, being present. Noticing if this side feels different than the other side. One side will often be easier than the other, and just noticing that without judgment. And then bringing your hands back down to your heart center and pausing here for a moment. Lowering the left foot, lowering the arms, and breathing in and out, letting the body assimilate the effects of the tree posture. And from here, we're going to move into the goddess warrior posture. So start by bringing your feet out about 3 feet. And then Your feet are going to angle out at about a 45-degree angle on each side. Bending your knees to where it feels comfortable, and bringing your arms so that they're parallel to the floor with the palms facing up toward the ceiling. Bending the elbows so that the fingertips are pointed up toward the ceiling and the palms facing one another, and breathing. Relaxing as best you can into this goddess warrior posture. A posture that requires some strength, and we've been doing a lot of strengthening of the leg muscles in this series of postures, so you may feel some fatigue here. So if you need to come up before I say to, feel free to. You can always come out of a posture and then come back in. Relaxing the face and the jaw. Nice, long, deep breaths in and out to help support you in this pose. And then when you're ready, straightening the knees and lowering the arms and bringing your feet back to center into the mountain posture. One more time. Taking a deep breath in and letting the body relax in this mountain posture. And now we're going to come back down onto the floor for one last forward bend called the turtle. So coming back down onto the floor, your feet are in front of you, about 3 feet apart. And you're going to bring your hands to the center and then thread them underneath your ankles, right hand around your right ankle, left hand around your left, and just let your body fall forward. Letting the head fall forward. Close your eyes. Letting your head be relaxed. You might want to move it side to side, up and down, just to make sure it's not holding any tension. Breathing in and out like a turtle in its shell, feeling the back arched. Feeling the release in the spine. Taking some time here to let the body relax. These forward bending postures are thought to be postures of surrender. So possibly thinking about something you might want to let go of. Something you're worried about, some grievance, whatever it is, just letting it go. Breathing and relaxing. Stretching out the spine. Couple of more deep breaths in and out. And then to move out of the posture, bring your hands back to center, palms facing down, to push yourself up slowly into a seated position. And then making your way down onto your back on the floor for the final posture, the corpse pose. You can bend your knees and have them falling together, or you can straighten your legs and let your feet fall apart. Your arms are by your side with the palms facing up toward the ceiling. Or you can place your right hand on your belly and your left hand over your chest, allowing your eyes to close and the body to just melt into the floor. Completely letting go. Letting the floor do all of the work of holding you up. And now congratulating yourself for taking the time to nourish your body in this way. Feeling gratitude for the body, for all of the things that it does from moment to moment to keep you alive. And perhaps setting the intention to engage in this type of activity on a regular basis, honoring the body's need to move and stretch and breathe.
All right. And there you have it. Oh.
Hi, my name is Dr. Lynn Rossi, health psychologist.
Yoga 2. So there you have it. So that's it for the formal. So now I just need to leave a few comments. The first comment is boy, I don't even know. I guess I found it pretty taxing. A really high level of exercise. Which is kind of sad, which makes me sad because I know I'm a lot more athletic. In my defense, I did swim earlier. But I'm still young enough that I should be able to get through something like this pretty easily. Which, I mean, to be fair, it was not that hard to get to. So to be fair, it really wasn't that hard to get through, though. All right, so there we go. So that's it. Just a few comments. Yep. So yep. All right, so that's it for that. And you know what? I am feeling good. So I think the most bang for my buck is to knock off these readings. Even if I can just get one out of the way, that'll be a lot of progress. So let me start with the 4 ways of responding to emotional pain or letting go: pushing away, falling in, recognizing and letting go, or turning inward, by Dave Potter. The 2 typical responses: pushing away and falling in. Typically, when we encounter something difficult emotionally or physically, we react in one of 2 ways: by pushing away or falling in. So pushing away: eat, drink, medicate, distract, get busy, push through tensing against the discomfort, denying this is not happening. If I ignore it, it will go away. Falling in: overwhelmed, panic, wallow, exhausted, depressed, sorry for self, why me, catastrophizing. I can't stand this. What if this gets worse? So this is conscious verbal, and this is sensory images and feelings. So pushing away is a more conscious thing, verbal thing. Falling in is a more sensory images, feelings thing. I guess I don't understand what this drawing means. Anyway, pushing away. In pushing away, we push through our discomfort by force or will, and we distract ourselves with activity or indulgence, busying ourselves, convincing ourselves we don't have a problem, and or by self-medicating with food, alcohol, or drugs. This solution is problematic in itself and is ultimately unsatisfactory, not just because of unwanted side effects, but because nothing has been done to resolve the underlying cause of the pain. Falling in. The second way of dealing with difficulty is falling in. This is not a conscious choice, but the result of not having sufficient resources to deal with the painful condition. In falling in, we are consumed by the difficulty, overwhelmed with the discomfort and its associated fears and or judgments. Often accompanying the physical and or emotional pain are feelings of helplessness and judgment. I can't stand this. What if this continues or gets worse? How could they/I have been so stupid, etc. In the end, we can't find ourselves feeling hopeless and powerless about how to take care of our own pain. Often, it's not just pushing away or falling in, but a swinging from one to the other. For instance, after a period of overwhelm, falling in, there can be a retreat into eating or self-medicating, pushing away, which is only effective temporarily, after which another round of pushing, overwhelming emotion begins, falling in. And when that gets to be too much, there's escape with distraction, pushing away, and so on. This can be a never-ending cycle. The two alternatives, recognizing and letting go, and turning toward. Both of these two alternatives to pushing away or falling in involve accepting the difficult emotions or sensations in a special way. This kind of acceptance is not acquiescence or giving in, falling in, nor is it not trying to banish them, pushing away. Recognizing and letting go and turning toward both begin with a gentle acknowledgement of what has come up and honoring its presence, staying with it for long enough to get a sense of what is happening. Recognizing and letting go. This is different than the pushing away response, which involves denial of the difficulty and instead begins with a special acknowledgement of it, a kind of hello, like you might give to someone coming to your door who you didn't expect. Although you might say, I'm busy right now, you wouldn't say it gruffly or even worse, just slam the door in their face. It's bringing a gentle but brief awareness to the discomfort or uncomfortable thought, at least long enough to recognize what it is. After acknowledging it in this way, you can bring your awareness back to what you may have been doing before. In some kinds of meditation, this acknowledgement is followed by bringing attention back to a predetermined object of awareness, such as breath, as you might with a sitting meditation, body, as you might with a yoga scan or with a body scan or yoga, mantra, transcendental meditation, prayer, Christian-centered prayer, visualization, some forms of Tibetan meditation. So this is a good one here. It's just a good reminder that this is secular. Like this is based on stuff done by pretty much all religions and non-religious people alike. It's just like basically a tool. It's like it'd be uncontroversial to say go take a jog. That that joggers are doing something that could improve their health. Like that's pretty uncontroversial to say. But then meditation that can be a bit tougher of a sell. So I'm glad they threw in just traditional Christian prayer in there because it really drives home the point that this is really kind of a universal secular thing that is actually already present in a lot of different kinds of religions and in non-religions alike. So recognizing and letting go, recognizing what has caught your attention, acknowledge and return to what you were doing. And I don't understand this drawing. I feel like these are icebergs and this is like water. Yeah, I guess I really don't understand this drawing at all. Oh, yeah, it's definitely icebergs and water because we have a scuba diver here. The approach strengthens grounding, stability, and resilience and can lead to very pleasant, even blissful states of absorption. And if the acknowledgement is done gently in a non-reactive way, and with a brief excursion acknowledging the difficult area, the difficulty may actually shift or dissolve. But if it is a long-standing pattern, the underlying dynamics remain in place to be encountered at another time, strong as ever. Turning toward. The issues that require more than a simple or gentle acknowledgement. For issues that require more than a simple or gentle acknowledgement, there is another approach which we call turning toward. This is a powerful method, but it is deeply counterintuitive because the last thing we want to do is to move closer to what's been troubling us. Instead of, and the other thing is, I'm not sure how this is different than falling in. I hope they'll explain that more clearly. Instead of moving away from the difficulty that has arisen, we move toward it. Although such an exploration might sound scary and uncomfortable, this is a gentle process and is done in a very special way, one that draws the skills of awareness and non-judgment that you have been strengthening so far in this course. So turning toward, attitude of open curiosity, willingness to be with what is, befriending and exploring. And that's different from falling in. Falling in is being overwhelmed, panicking, wallowing, exhausted, kind of catastrophizing, ruminating on it. Turning toward, I think, is different. In turning toward, there is an attitude of open curiosity and a willingness to be with and to explore what is being encountered, even if it is uncomfortable. A surprising and counterintuitive result of staying with something in this way is that the I've got to get out of here component of the discomfort lessens and sometimes even disappears, even while staying in contact with it. And a successful encounter of this type can sometimes unravel long-standing problematic patterns. And that's kind of what I did with my upper back pain. I really thought more about it and kind of turned in towards it. And I realized, oh, my posture when I work is garbage. And I switched up my chair and it went away. All right, so turning toward difficult emotions or sensations in a way that is non-reactive and productive is an art in itself and merits some study and practice. Of course, it is not always possible in terms of timing and setting to engage in this kind of exploration, and it may be appropriate, if possible, to set aside the difficult sensation or emotion until there is time and there are resources to deal with the difficulty. In which case, the recognizing and letting go response might be appropriate. The turning toward meditations described in this course are an adaptation of Vidyamala Birch's 5-step model, and they guide you in explorations of physical and emotional difficulties in a way that brings in personal experiences to help keep you grounded as you practice this approach. There are a number of other approaches which involve a turning toward our inner landscape, including Rain, taught by Tara Brach, Soften, Soothe, Allow, taught by Kristen Neff, and Focusing, as taught by Anne Weiser Cornell. Of all of these methods, the most sophisticated and complete method I know of is Focusing. It is well worth learning, and Anne has some great resources, including some excellent online trainings. Becoming completely comfortable and skilled with Focusing takes significant time and work. If you are interested in exploring it, see Inner Listening. So I feel like this is probably a paid thing. Yeah, it's a paid thing. All right, so definitely don't have time for that. So moving on to the next reading. This is Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. Quote by Carl Rogers. All right, and I can get through these readings. I know I can. Mohini was a regal white tiger who lived for many years at the Washington D.C. National Zoo, and I'm gonna take a pause. I'm just worried that my calendar is I don't know what's on my calendar, and that's freaking me out. Okay, I'm back. There's nothing on my calendar. So Mohini was a regal white tiger who lived for many years at the Washington D.C. National Zoo. For most of those years, her home was in the Old Lion House, a typical 12 by 12 foot cage with iron bars and a cement floor. Mohini spent her days pacing restlessly back and forth in her cramped quarters. Eventually, biologists and staff worked to create a natural habitat for her, covering several acres. It had hills, trees, a pond, and a variety of vegetation. With excitement and anticipation, they released Mohini into her new expansive environment, but it was too late. The tiger immediately sought refuge in the corner of the compound, where she lived for the remainder of her life. Mohini paced and paced in that corner until an area 12 by 12 feet was worn of bare grass. So I already read this before, I think, but it's okay. I'll read it again. Perhaps the biggest tragedy in our lives is that Freedom is possible, and yet we can pass our years trapped in the same old patterns. Entangled in the trance of unworthiness, we grow accustomed to caging ourselves in with self-judgment and anxiety, with restlessness and dissatisfaction. Like Mohini, we grow incapable of accessing the freedom and peace that are our birthright. We may want to love other people without holding back, to feel authentic, to breathe in the beauty around us, to dance and sing. Yet each day we listen to inner voices that keep our life small. Even if we were to win millions of dollars in the lottery or marry the perfect person, as long as we feel not good enough, we won't be able to enjoy the possibilities before us. Unlike Mohini, however, we can learn to recognize when we are keeping ourselves trapped by our own beliefs and fears. We can see how we are wasting our precious lives. The way out of our cage begins with accepting absolutely everything about ourselves and our lives by embracing a wakefulness and care our moment to moment experience. By accepting absolutely everything, what I mean is that we are aware of what is happening within our body and mind in any given moment, without trying to control or judge or pull away. I do not mean that we are putting up with harmful behavior, our own or others. This is an inner process of accepting our actual present moment experience. It means feeling sorrow and pain without resisting. It means feeling desire or dislike for someone or something without judging ourselves for the feeling or being driven to act on it. So it's that non-reactivity, and it's that metacognition where you are not your feeling, you are having a feeling. You are experiencing a feeling, but that feeling is not all encompassing, and it does not fully control or define who you are. Clearly recognizing what is happening inside us and regarding what we see with an kind, open, and loving heart is what I call radical acceptance. If we are holding back from any part of our experience, if our heart shuts out any part of who we are and what we feel, we are fueling the fears and feelings of separation that sustain the trance of unworthiness. Radical acceptance directly dismantles the very foundations of this trance. Radical acceptance flies in the face of our conditioned reactions. When physical or emotional pain arises, our reflex is to resist it, not only by stiffening our body and contracting our muscles, but also by contracting our mind. We lose ourselves in thoughts about what is wrong and how long it will last, what we should do about it, and how long the pain reflects our unworthiness. A physical pain, such as a backache or a migraine, those are not equal. Well, I mean, back pain can be really bad. Might turn into a commentary on how we don't know how to take care of ourselves, how we don't eat well or exercise enough. The pain might make us feel like a victim. It might tell us we can't count on our body, that things will always go wrong. In the same way, we amplify emotional pain with our judgments and stories. Feeling fear or anger or jealousy means something is wrong with us and we are weak or bad. The wing of clear seeing is often described as mindfulness. This is the quality of awareness that recognizes exactly what is happening in our moment-to-moment experience. When we are mindful of fear, for instance, we are aware that our thoughts are racing, that our body feels tight and shaky, that we feel compelled to flee, and we recognize all this without trying to manage our experience in any way, without pulling away. Our attentive presence is unconditional and open. We are willing to be with whatever arises, even if we wish the pain would end or that we could be doing something else. That wish and that thought become part of what we are accepting because we are not tampering with our experience. Mindfulness allows us to see life as it is. This recognition of the truth of our experience is intrinsic to radical acceptance. We can't honestly accept an experience unless we clearly see what we are accepting. The second wing of radical acceptance, compassion, is our capacity to relate in a tender and sympathetic way to what we perceive. Instead of resisting our feelings of fear or grief, we embrace our pain with the kindness of a mother holding her child. Rather than judging or indulging our desire for attention or chocolate or sex, we regard our grasping with gentleness and care. Compassion honors our experience. It allows us to be intimate with the life of this moment as it is. Compassion makes our acceptance wholehearted and complete. The two wings of clear seeing and compassion are inseparable. Both are essential in liberating us from the trance. They work together, mutually reinforcing each other. If we are rejected by someone we love, the trance of unworthiness may ensnare us in obsessive thinking, blaming the one who hurt us, and at the same time believing that were jilted because we are defective. We may feel caught in a relentless swing between explosive anger and wrenching grief and shame. The two wings of radical acceptance free us from this swirling vortex of reaction. They help us find the balance and clarity that can guide us in choosing what we say or do. We might wonder how, when we feel most stuck, we take the first step toward radical acceptance. It can give us confidence to remember that our essence remains intact no matter how lost we may be. The very nature, if our awareness, and I think this is meant to say of, our awareness is to know what is happening. The very nature, if our heart, is to care. So that was the same typo twice, so I don't know if it was meant to be some sort of like intentional mistake to make a point, but I'm going to read it as of. It just makes more sense to me as of. I don't understand the message if it's meant to actually say if. So the very nature of our heart is to care. Like a boundless sea, we have the capacity to embrace the waves of life as they move through us. Even when the sea is stirred up by the winds of self-doubt, we can find our way home. We can discover in the midst of the waves our spacious and wakeful awareness. We lay the foundations of radical acceptance by recognizing when we are caught in the habit of judging, resisting, and grasping, and how we constantly try to control our levels of pain and pleasure. We lay the foundations of radical acceptance by seeing how we create suffering when we turn harshly against ourselves, and by remembering our intention to love life. As we let go of our stories of what is wrong with us, we begin to touch what is actually happening with a clear and kind attention. We release our plans and fantasies and arrive open-handed in the experience of this moment. Whether we feel pleasure or pain, the wings of acceptance allow us to honor and cherish this ever-changing life as it is. So, okay. So... And we got one final one. We know who Tara Brach is. We read stuff before. This is the Felt Sense Prayer. It's a prayer. The author was unknown, but it's shared to us by Tara Branch. So I am the pain in your head, the knot in your stomach, the unspoken grief in your smile. I am your high blood pressure, which I have, your elevated blood pressure, your fear of challenge, your lack of trust. I am your hot flushes, your fragile low back, your agitation and your fatigue. For me, fragile upper back, and my elbows, my left elbow especially. You tend to disown me, suppress me, ignore me, inflate me, coddle me, condemn me. You usually want me to go away completely, to disappear, just back into obscurity. Most times than not, I'm only the most recent notes of a long symphony. The most evident branches of roots that have been challenged for seasons. So I implore you. I am a messenger with good news, as disturbing as I can be at times. I am wanting to guide you back to those tender places in yourself, the place where you can hold yourself with compassion and honesty. I may ask you to alter your diet, get more sleep, exercise regularly, breathe more consciously. I might encourage you to seek a vaster reality and worry less about the day-to-day fluctuations of life. I may ask you to explore the bonds and wounds of your relationship. Wherever I lead you, my hope is that you will realize that success will not be measured by my eradication, but by the shift in the internal landscape from which I emerge. I am your friend, not your enemy. I belong. I have no desire to bring pain and suffering into your life. I am simply tugging at your sleeve, too long immune to gentle nudges. I desire for you to allow me to speak to you in a way that enlivens your higher instincts for self-care. My charge is to energize you, to listen to me with the sensitive ear and heart of a mother attending to her precious baby. You are a being so vast, so complex, with amazing capacities for self-regulation and healing. Let me be one of the harbingers that lead you to the mysterious core of your being, where insight and wisdom are naturally available when called upon with a sincere heart. So I'm not sure how normal people would react to that. I'm kind of upset by that. So chronic pain is a very real condition. And I feel like, this idea that I belong. It's like, well, no, like if you have chronic pain, you have to go get treatment. So what's the treatment for chronic pain? But basically my objection with it is I feel like it kind of minimizes very real conditions. It's basically just like, oh, grin and bear it, or get over with it, or like, become friends with your neuropathic nerve pain. Like, no, like, sometimes you have an actual, like as a result of a car accident, or like, something. It's not that you were, it's not that you're not, you could be doing none of this, right? Like you could be, this is my objection in a few words. Medical conditions are not a personal failing, in my opinion. You don't get a disease because of some mistake you made. Like oftentimes diseases are just like airborne. So just by leaving your house and like doing something that like you have to do, like you have to go to work, you'll be exposed to viruses that can give you diseases. So like this kind of thing, like maybe if it works for you, great. If it makes you feel good, great. But for me, this is the kind of thing that like makes me want to like punch the screen, to be honest, because if you have a disease, it's not because of some personal moral failure. It's because probably of a virus. A lot of diseases come from viruses. And you know what? Maybe it could be because there are some things to work on, like altering your diet, getting more sleep, exercising regularly, and breathing more consciously. That could help. That's why I'm doing this. But just this idea that I am your friend, not your enemy. I belong. No. If you have, there are very real conditions where it's not okay that you're in so much chronic pain. Like something happened to you, like you got in a car accident, and you're still dealing with the consequences of that. So see a doctor, like do what the doctor says. You might need to go on some kind of medication and take it as directed. It's not a personal failing that you are being so vast, so complex, with amazing capacities for self-regulation and healing. Maybe like hopefully that's the cure, right? But like this idea that that you've just been that you haven't been listening to this, you haven't been taking it seriously, and there's some deeper wisdom in like your freaking like elbow pain. It's like, no, like you should be icing your elbow, you should be working with a physical therapist. Like for me, like the working out thing, like, yeah, I was stupid, like, and I got mistakes from that, but like not every health condition is because of that. Like I just really am like triggered by the idea that like every single thing that can go wrong in your body is some kind of personal moral failing. Like you didn't listen to the gentle nudges of your mother nurturing your inner child, and now you have cancer. Like that, to me, that's just abhorrent. And I'm actually getting like really angry. So I'm gonna stop the video there. So we got all the readings done. Just need to do the videos, and then just need to do the formal exercises, and then get to some supplemental materials if I can. So thanks for watching. I'll do the stop exercises. So stop, take a breath, notice breath. All right, and proceed. Yeah, my breath was because I was getting upset by thinking about that. My breath was definitely speeding up there. So, all right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.